Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, thank you for checking in with me. This is Roxy Ayers with She Rocks It, and I'm doing this specific program about that one person you know that may have MS or may not, and they feel like they have all the answers to getting you well. Maybe it's your diet, maybe it's your medication, maybe it's the time you wake up in the morning, maybe it's a venture into a different way of life, or maybe it's a thing where, they are projecting their daily life experience. And the Fixer Friend comes from a very good place, but it doesn't feel like a good place when it comes to being a person with the condition we do and the way that we do. And I have a friend, she has MS, and she's a very nice person, 9 times out of 10. And, this wouldn't even be a disgruntled thing, but it's more along the lines of a situation where she doesn't understand. But it took me a little time to get over that because, this person has been in fix-it mode with me since the beginning of our relationship. And, oh, maybe you should do this and you should do that. And this is what I do. Da-da-da-da-da. And I go, well, oh, okay, And then sometimes I get a little defensive and I throw a rebuttal back or some kind of a dig back. And it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your relationship. And it's just a matter of breaking it down so they can see what you see and what you feel. And it's hard and it's exhausting. And really, it's something we don't want to have to do. And we don't want to do. And we shouldn't have to do. But this is not the life that we live, is it? So this friend comes up to me yesterday, and she shows up at my house, and she was dressed to the nine and had her hair done and was feeling very jazzy, not to mention she could drive. So she hopped in her car and decided she was going to come by and visit me, which is great because, when you are at home a lot, you really do appreciate the drop-ins and moments. But she looks at me and she goes, you're kind of gaining weight. Maybe that's not good for your balance. Dig number one. And she starts talking a little bit about her adventures and things like that. And then she goes into, it's already, 2:00 and you don't even look like you've had a shower yet today. Maybe it'll help if you do it first thing in the morning, and it'll get you all bright and shiny for the day. And I was very offended and very exhausted just even hearing it. And I didn't know what to say. So I don't like to admit it, but I was so offended that I went into rebuttal mode or defense mode. And it was an amazing feat of saying really hurtful things about her and her situations and whatever else. And and how I don't go into her house and tell her how to live and da 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 da. And she goes, well, I just trying to help. And she was. And if I can ever advise anybody to do anything in this kind of moment, because everybody has a fixer friend, maybe they have MS, maybe they don't, maybe they're a health fanatic, or maybe they're somebody who just really loves you and wants you to be well. And so you know, you you try to deal with it and don't say anything until you snap. So what I would do, what I would suggest, and it's because I just did this, and I'll kind of explain it. I usually need a few hours to marinate on what it is that person said to me if it was offensive and kind of took me over for the day. So I kind of was like in this really weird place, and I was mad and I was irritated, and then she left and went about her day and went to work, by the way, and utilized her beautiful working eyes, and because mine, I have rotary nystagmus, which means circular vision all day long, which is exhausting feat in its own. So I took a few hours and thought about it and prayed about it, and I called her back. I called her, I should say, and I was like, do you have time to talk to me? Because I really want to share something with you. And she's, oh yeah, of course. Da, 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 da. I always do the da 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 for just ramblings of nonsense. And so anyways, I prayed about it and it hit me. I realized she has no idea what you deal with every day. So you're going to give her a play-by-play, Roxanne, and explain what a shower in the morning would mean. And I said, hey, fixer friend, I don't do showers first thing in the morning because showers are exhausting for me. I mean, I'd love to. That would be amazing. But that's not my reality. And when I say they're exhausting, it's not like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to get in that tub or get in that bath or shower. No, it's a process. It's a process with me and my husband. I have to get, number one, I have to get my clothes off, which is a feat in itself because I have to lift each leg manually to get my leg out of my pajamas. And then, I have to, hope to undress safely because really I should be seated most of the time because I have really horrible balance. And so that happens, and I decide that, you know what, maybe I'm going to take a shower and it's going to be so good, but then I need to call my husband to make sure I get in safely. And early in the morning is not the thing for my husband. He is not a morning person. And we've realized this over our marriage, so that's a process. And it's taken years. I mean, we've been married for 15 years, and I still storm into his room and scare the crap out of him, and he's just not pleased, and he's not pleased the rest of the day. So that's just the first step. And then let's say hypothetically he wakes up all bright and shiny and says, hey, yeah, for sure. And he does. He doesn't stay mad about helping me, but it's more just waking him up at, horrible early hours. And so, yes, he was pleasant and he helped me get into the tub without busting my face. And then I have to go into the process of trying to shave very carefully because of my borderline blindness. And granted, I probably miss so many hairs, it's ridiculous. And I don't notice it until I have a patch and a spot in my leg that I've been missing for freaking 3 weeks. And you could braid it, it's crazy. So then from that point, it's more of a thing where you're sitting there and you're doing all of this and you're hoping you're seeing what you're supposed to be seeing. And then also you grab your bottles who look like your shampoo and conditioner, and sometimes they look remarkably similar, and you switch them on accident, and it doesn't work as well, it seems like, if you condition first and then shampoo, depending on if you're talking about this new shampoo that's out these days, where they're like, you know what, I condition first and then I shampoo. I think you've seen the commercial, but this is not my life, so everything's a little more backwards at that point. And then, oh my goodness, after shaving my legs, I have to then try to remember to shave my armpits, which is ridiculous. And sometimes I forget because, really, I don't sit around in like, tube tops and or tank tops and have my armpits hanging around. So it's a possibility I might miss them for a couple of days. And I'm Hispanic, and for me specifically, that means I have a lot of hair on my head and on my body, and it is no game. So that's exhausting to remember these pieces. And then, you just making sure you're doing what you can to get yourself super clean. And I mean, I'm telling you, as far as washing my legs and anything down low, I have to venture lifting my leg up to kind of scrub the bottom of my feet and stuff like that. And it is a pain in the butt because my legs feel so heavy because my muscles and my spasticity keep me from being able to do the things that other people might be able to do. Matter of fact, some people stand up and wash the bottom of one of their feet, put their leg down and wash the bottom of the other foot, and that's not my life. And then, when I'm finally done, I've done all of these things to be ready for the day, then I have to venture getting out of the tub or the shower and doing it safely. And this is easy enough if I scream for my husband on the other side of the house or the living room or whatever else, and it is big old pain in the butt, and so from this point I go, honey, I need help getting out of the shower. So then, yes, he comes and he helps me, and he's really good about not making me feel like a job. And because there are times it really is. I wondered if it was reversed, if I would be as gracious and as kind. So, yes, then he helps me get my legs out, my body out, so I don't have an accident. And we know that we're only a hair away every day, that from that moment. And so one leg out, the other leg out, and then sitting on the toilet and doing a strategic drying process. And he'll do it for me, but I tend to try to do it for myself to make his life a little less complicated because he deals with me all the time. And so, yes, then I venture trying to get my legs dried and my arms and everything, and then the hair usually comes first because I have a lot of hair and it really holds on to water. And the floor would be so wet, it would be ridiculous. Not to mention dangerous, right? So let's say hypothetically I decided I was going to just hop out, use the bar, whatever else. I would drip a bunch of water on the ground and probably have a big old ugly accident. But these are all things that go through our heads, And then what happens next? We decide, hey, okay, we don't really decide, but we muster up the strength and try to find your way to the bedroom, because then, of course, then you get dressed, and you can't very well wall walk with one arm getting you through the hallway and then the other one holding your towel up so you're not mooning the world in your house. And so then you do that and you make it to your room and you decide you're going to get dressed. But oh, did I remember to lay out what I was going to wear? Did I remember to have everything ready? And 9 times out of 10 is no. So then I am leaning on the dresser and pulling out all those little items and stuff to get dressed and put my everything on. I'm not going to get too specific on that, but it's one thing at a time, one leg at a time, and it's such a tedious process overall, and I mean exhausting. And I'm already kind of tired, and maybe my shower was a little too warm and it took it out of me because with the MS, we're heat sensitive. And then so you go and you're getting dressed and you're doing what you have to do. And so finally you're dressed. And then that's when you stay seated for an extended amount of time because really there's no choice. You have to rest in between because it is a pain in the ass. And it sounds so weird. Oh, taking a shower, it's still exhausting. But it's all these little pieces. And then if you wear yourself out early, then the rest of your day has a little bit of a drag. So I normally make an effort to shower in the evenings or do any of my big preparations for if I have a busy day the next day. I want to make sure I am not the reason we're late. So I'll lay everything out the night before. I'll do my shower the night before, and then I'll take all that exhaustion from the shower and put it in the bed and lay down and hope for sleep. And this is me explaining all of this to her. I mean, play by play by play. And her face looked tired just from hearing it. And I'm like, oh, that sounds exhausting, doesn't it? And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm trying to let you know what my day is like. And that's just the beginning. That is the baby beginning. And then, not to mention, finally getting each leg into my pants. And hopefully I'm all the way dried off because you know what it's like putting dry clothes on a wet body. And if you don't stand up by yourself, like if you have to prop yourself up, then you have to freaking really make it work and trying not to kill yourself in the process. And it's so crazy weird because you don't think about these details when you're making your suggestions, when you're making your probiotic slash dietary slash, life choices recommendations. And it hurts me. And I tell her then, I say, listen, I love you. And I know it comes from an amazing place. But it exhausts me to even have to do this conversation. Because like I said before, my hair is tired, my body is tired, my want to is tired. And I don't know if I have time for this conversation every other day. But I need you to know that I love you and I respect you. And I hope you respect me. And I need you to know that my everyday is a battle. Down to the putting my socks on and figuring out if I can tie my shoelaces because of my rotary nystagmus. I can't tell, what's happening when I'm tying my shoelaces, which I've managed to figure out how to see it through different eyes. But then I had one hand that has tactile numbness. That makes it next to impossible to get that other bunny ear in the right spot to pull it through. And if the shoelaces are too tiny or anything else, it's just impossible. And then I hope to tuck them in. And then, if I only can tuck them in, I hope that I don't fall out of my shoe and cause a whole nother issue. These are thoughts in my head on a daily basis. So then, it's all so crazy. And then, if you decide that you feel so savvy and so ready to join the day, that you're going to paint the barn that day. And you're going to do your makeup. And for me specifically, it's really hard because of the eyes. And I find myself not using a mirror at all. It actually jacks me up. So I kind of go with the feel of the instrument on my face and knowing kind of where it is. And I'm not going to lie, there have been times it's been pretty crazy because I think I have it right. And then my husband comes up and says, maybe I should fix this a little bit. It looks a little crazy. Which then I get pissed and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm so upset because I just really tried. And he's just coming from a good place too. So it's a bunch of arguments. So painted the barn, hopefully. well. And then I look at my hair, and I have curly hair, and it is wild, and it is not for everybody. It is a thing where, you know, if you don't know how to deal with it, you would be so lost. And I decided I'm going to try and style it or put it halfway up. And people go, okay, then you got to do the little part where you're putting half up. But wouldn't you have to be able to see to make sure you have it straight and all this other stuff? And that's exhausting, worrying about that. And just everything is a job. So yes, I take a shower at night to be prepared for the next day. I don't get to be bright and shiny first thing in the morning unless I prepare myself the night before. And this is me explaining all of this to her, and her face looks so tired by now. And I said, now, this is just hearing it. Could you imagine living it? I don't think so. It is excuse me. It is a crazy feat of trying to balance your physical health and positivity, and then your overall wellness, and then your sanitation, and then what are you going to do today? Or do you have enough energy to do anything today after that whole process? And then, hey, maybe you do want to do something, you still feel good. Then you go, hey, I'm going to have to enlist somebody to get me out of this house. Because, I have no business taking stairs by myself, and I don't drive because of the crazy eyes, so I would require somebody to take me. And I think that it's, that's a pain in the butt, and it's exhausting just even having to think about that. So then, finally, I'm able to negotiate with my husband. I'd like to go to the store or whatever else, and he'll help me get down the stairs, which is exhausting because it's exhausting emotionally more than it is anything, having to have help just to leave the house. And then I can't drive myself, but thank God I never drove, so I don't really miss it tremendously. I'm kind of glad too, because there was a time where I was taking Ambien, and it was not good. I totally I thought I could walk. I thought I could do all kinds of stuff. I thought I could shave my legs. I thought I could do whatever. And I should not be doing any of that on Ambien. So it's kind of a crazy thing. So then, finally I get in the car. Then we get to where we're going. Then I have to get out. And this is me climbing up into the car and then watching my husband take it out and then put it back in. And it's a pain in the ass. But most of this conversation I'm having with you guys is more about hopefully giving you a chance to know how to communicate with somebody that is being a fixer friend. And this doesn't come from an ugly place, so you have to make sure your response isn't from an ugly place. Because you don't want to break friendships. You don't want to break these connections, these people who love you enough to drop by and care for you and think that you are amazing in your own right. And it's not an easy thing. It's not at all. So take a day, think about it. Think about your response. Think about your choices and what you're gonna say and how you're gonna express it without being ugly. Because we're already feeling kind of ugly, and those people, they don't know what it's like to live in our world. So that's what I did. I took a day and I prayed, and I got back to her, and I did this. I gave her the whole play-by-play that I gave to you. And she looks so tired just from listening to the stories of my life on a day-to-day basis. And she apologized. And I wasn't looking for an apology. I just needed some recognition. And she goes, I didn't think about those things, Roxanne. I didn't think about those tiny little details. I don't know how you manage. And I'm like, I'm not looking for you to feel sorry for me. I just need you to respect me and my choices and keep some of those suggestions to yourself because they don't apply to me. It is not my universe. I love you. I care for you. And we can make this work. We can make our friendship work, even though, we have our disagreements. But just take a minute every time you think you might mention something to me and consider what it's like adding a whole extra step to my day. Oh, and I didn't even put in breakfast as a part of that process, or what I was going to do for lunch, or what the plan is, or whatever. Oh my gosh, and I have no business cooking on a stove because of my balance and my vision and whatever else. So it's neither here nor there, but it is. And I think if we can take a minute to kind of look at it from their perspective, to figure out how we can communicate with them. And gently, not ugly, not in an ugly way, not in an impulsive way, because that never works. That never works. And as MSers, we can be defensive because we're tired and because we really try every day. Even people that seem like they're not trying at all, they are trying. It's just you don't know what it's like to be under their skin. So I think no matter what, if you're reaching somebody with love, you come to them with a genuine concern about how you guys are communicating, it won't be bad. It can be really good. So that's all I have to say today, and I hope this was helpful to somebody. Please check in with me, and I will try to get in every week and give you a new little wrap session. And I hope that you have an amazing day and not an exhausting day. Maybe a happy day, a peaceful day. Nothing with any kind of confrontations or things like that. Let's hope for. Why don't you pray on it every morning for breakfast? Just pray about your day and pray for your support. Pray about these moments. And it'll be okay. Don't forget to breathe, by the way. So anyways, please remember to tune in and listen to my crazy. And I usually try to be a bit of a positive support if I can. I don't want to be a negative Nelly all the time. But do this. Give it a go. See how it works. I think it will be great. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And once again, don't forget to tune in and hopefully share with somebody you think it might be beneficial for, because it helps me. That's my medicine, to be of service to you guys. So thanks, and have a great day.